Oh yeah, I just thought I'd record a little video when I'm outside in the New Forest in England. Alright, just gone for a quick run and the energy is peaking up. Today's subject, well, it's quite a big one. It's rather than the word rebellion, the topic is defiance, and defying what I'd call the controlling energies. Other people might call the ego. Basically, it's defying the unhealthy, negative nature of whatever it is that is trying to pull us, humanity, off path and away from truly breaking free, you know. It's a lovely spot here. Just let my breath calm down after that nice little run. Now you see, I was just thinking about this, you know, and this was like a video to myself more than anything, you know. I want to remind myself of the importance of this defiance, and rather than going on about what we'll defy against, whether it's so-called Lucifer, the Dark Ones, demonic beings, aliens, reptilians, what was the other one? Artificial intelligence, which, as you know, like, because of the transhuman agenda and all the stuff that's going on the planet right now, that's the real biggie. Or mind control, you know, from stuff that's going on around with the cell towers and all that, you know. I'm not claiming to know the answers, and I'm not being schizophrenic about it or worried about it. Or it could be the ego, you know, it could be a part of our own mind, which I doubt it, because I've experienced too much to really see that anymore. You know, the last 10 years has been very eye-opening in that regard. But the defiance is about defying the controlling energy, you know, and me and Katie, we sense it as another energy, a handler, so to speak. And I wanted to say also that MK Ultra and the programming that they do to people have done to people with that, and the programming that's done high up in the elite, you know, the Illuminati and the elite business people on the earth, is part of that programming as well, and the abuses and the things that go on, you know. Now, the reason I wanted to say about defiance rather than rebellion, if you think about rebellion, it's like we're rebelling against the government, or we're rebelling against this or that or the other, you know. And I always see that as a very immature way of dealing with things, you know. It's I mean, you know, it has its place, but when the punk movement rebelled, you know, it just, in a way, to me, it just showed that we were very reactive, and that we weren't really that intelligent. You know, we can just act like thugs, and you know, and it actually lowered our energy. You know, humanity's energy was lowered at that point into a, you know, feeling like we don't care. You know, there's no point. You know, like feeling very disillusioned. That was the word. You know, I'm not sure if everyone felt that back then, but you know, I know some did. And then, of course, you had the hippie movement, and maybe they didn't rebel, but they, you know, they smoked and they drank, and you know, had free love and all that. But they didn't realise that a lot of the things they were doing were holding them back and stopping them become powerful creatures, you know. And so, in this modern time, we're needing people to return to nature, return to the earth. And there's a certain level of defiance that needs to come, and there is outer defiance and inner defiance. I'll just explain the two of those, you know. Not that I'm an expert on anything, you know, but the inner defiance, I'll start with the outer defiance. There's a need to defy the things that we feel are unhealthy on the planet, you know, to say, no, we don't accept that, you know, we don't accept the torturing of whatever, we don't accept the cruelty of animals, you know, we want to find new and better ways, you know. So that's really positive, and we can make changes on the earth and try and focus on, you know, what we want to bring and how we can help change And obviously a lot of us spend our time looking at politicians and trying to ask them to change, but obviously we need to actually change as a species ourselves, you know. And there's nothing like the power of groups to bring about change, you know. Now, so yeah, the defiance, defying society's norms, society's, you know, some of the rules that aren't healthy, you know. I won't name any at the moment, I can't really think of any off the top of my head, but, you know, and then you've got the inner control. The inner control, I feel, as I say, is not just shadow, it's not just things that we've been through in our past that make us afraid and control our life, you know, and make us hold on to things and, you know, keep us stuck in a box. And not all of us want to stay stuck in a box, you know, we don't want to be held back by fears and all these things, you know, but the programming goes very, very deep, you know. And the thing is the control that's going on the planet is subtle, you know. It's, you'll be rewarded if you eat this certain food that's not good for you. You'll be rewarded by the pleasure of it, but you'll also be rewarded by the energies who seek to manipulate and control humanity. They will back off for a minute and give you that peace of mind and that fluffy cloud feeling because you're going along with things. So of course it's only when you start taking your power back and you defy that you realise that there are such things as controlling energies on the planet that serve to keep us caught in a lower state of awareness and disconnected from our spirit, you know, whether that's our ego or it's the controlling energies, which I feel is up to you, you know. I feel like certain humans get more of these controlling energies attached to them, especially when they go through trauma. But from what I've looked, when I look around and when I go into a city, into a town, it appears to me that most humans are being affected by this darkness, are being brought down by it and held within their fears and not able to truly let go, you know, at a deep level, you know. It's just started raining actually. Damn. Should be right. So when we talk about defiance, you know, we're defying the urge to do things which are unhealthy for us, you know. That is powerful, you know. We used to think as a child or as a teenager that smoking and taking drugs or whatever was defying because our parents told us not to do them, and you know, it's like defying. But there's a new kind of defying, and it's defying the corporations. It's you know, taking our power back, growing our own food, you know, living off the land, becoming one with nature again, realizing that if anything, if you don't believe in a God, it's the actual connection to the earth, you know, which is our God, you know, and we need to respect Mother Nature and rekindle our connection and take the power away from the corporations. Right, that was interesting. Just a couple of dog walkers came by. Lovely dog jumped up at me. I was saying to them I was bitten by a dog when I was younger, so I've been a little bit, you know, unsure with them. But yeah, nice dog. Yeah, so what's the point, I guess? Trying to get to the point, because, you know, these videos take time up people's precious life. I'm not going to edit any of this either. I'm trying not to edit any videos. Yeah, so this defiance, you know, I feel like the control, a lot of it goes on in the subconscious. So although we don't feel like we're being controlled when we're here on the earth plane, parts of the psyche which are maybe hurt or wounded, you know, that's where the control's going on. So it's not within our view, but the suggestions are put in, you know, the suggestion that, say for instance, if you do this, no one will like you, you'll be alone. You know, a suggestion that, you know, a lot of it's to do with self-worth, you know, that's being played on with us, you know. So there's manipulation going on to make us feel smaller than others, or like we need to change and fit in with society, you know, which is a control program, you know. So obviously we don't really want to be fitting in with a control program on the planet unless it really suits us, you know. We don't want to be wearing brand name clothes and believing that we need that to feel good, unless we actually want to wear them, you know, rather than actually being pulled by an unhealthy sense, you know, an unhealthy need, you know. So it's very important for us to heal our wounds so that we no longer obviously are pulled by these unfulfilled needs, you know. Maybe it's in childhood we were never loved, or we weren't listened to, or whatever it is, you know. So we have those needs, you know. But anyway, the whole point was that, like, with the controlling energies, we need to be able to, at least I need to be able to, and this is what this video was about me, you know. I need to be able to defy these controlling energies, you know. I need to be able to say, no, I'm not doing that, you know, or say I'm afraid to do something, I need to try and step towards it, you know. So that's what this defiance is all about. It's about defying the control, and the control that we have inside, you know. Many of us have very ritualistic behaviours, you know, we'll do the same thing day after day, and we're afraid to defy that ritual and step outside of the box and try and do something different tomorrow, you know. Try and do something different. So I just came out for a run. Instead of just sitting there going on the phone again, like I do a lot of the time, I decided to change the program and go for a run. And that's the other thing, is realising that, you know, I do feel like there are controlling energies on the planet, but I also feel like there's a control grid of artificial intelligence which is there to influence and keep people within certain behaviours and patterns, you know. And once these behaviours set in, once we take them in, we start playing them out over and over again, you know. And then it's unhealthy patterns, you know, like getting drunk all the time, or, you know, smoking all the time, you know. There's these core unhealthy patterns which keep us stuck in life, unable to truly progress and evolve, you know. So there's a lot there, you know. So I'm just trying to speak very from the moment here. But if I can just see if there's anything else to say about this in a minute. Okay, yeah, so just to lastly say, you know, like, society's control program is to keep us all the same, you know, to keep us living like this Hollywood polished over movie script of life, you know. And this is how it's meant to be. You're meant to wear this, you're meant to do this, you're meant to look like this, you know, you're meant to live like this, you're meant to have a job like this, you know, you're meant to have qualifications like this, you know. All of this is, like, irrelevant, you know, to what's actually going on the planet right now, you know. There's serious stuff going on. And, you know, standing in loving defiance, which is the Rising Appalachia song, Medicine, it says about that in there. Some nice words in the song. Is important, you know, because what we're saying is basically be guided by the voice of our soul. You know, be guided by that and defy those very negative tendencies to do unhealthy acts which destroy us, destroy our temple, destroy friendships, destroy relationships, you know, and keep us ultimately stuck in maybe stuck like that, or stuck in a downward spiral, you know. So as a human species, we don't have time for this anymore, because we don't have time to go down the spiral. Evolution is the way forward. And when you see that we're destroying the planet, you know, and so much is going on that's, you know, destroying this beautiful earth, we need to start evolving fast, you know. I really feel that. So, there you go, maybe that's it. But I'll do some more video about this defiance thing at some point. But ultimately, it's trying to figure out, you know, when is that energy coming in, trying to suggest that we do something that goes against ourselves, or that is harmful, or is negative for us, and to learn that we don't have to be under the rule of anything else, you know, whether that is expectations from family, expectations from society, from our work colleagues, from anyone, you know, or anything, you know, from a being, from a spirit, you know, whatever it is. But it's recognising that force and saying no to it, because we are big enough and we are strong enough to fight the darkness on this planet, you know. We are strong enough, and I am here to get in my power and be bloody strong. And I'm talking on an animal level, not just a spiritual level, and on a human level, you know. We're talking being really in touch with our humanity and the truth of who humanity is, which is a very pure, loving and powerful being, which is not airy-fairy. So on that note, I'm going to get out of the rain and get back to the van and get out of here. But yeah, I'd just like to say that basically it's very important to keep our body health maintained, you know, keep strong in the body, and the exercise and the grounding in nature will really help us disconnect from the artificial intelligence and the society control which is going on, mainly big cities, small towns and all that stuff. The stronger we can be in our body, the more we can break free from that and loosen its grip from us. So big love to everyone who's listened to this, and I've got to go now back to the van and get out of here. Yeah, power on your journey. Cheers.